Right, now hold your horses one moment. Before you get triggered at the title, I want to explain myself. You guys know the YouTube game. I've got to pull you in with the title. But I've noticed there's been a narrative and an argument going round making the case for why Alex Pereira is the GOAT and better than Khabib Nurmagomedov. And although I do believe it's a wild statement initially to just look at on the surface level, I do believe that Alex Pereira is not that far off from becoming just that, the GOAT, overtaking Khabib within his GOAT status. And once again, I really just want to clarify this before people say, you don't know what you're talking about, so you're a casual. I don't believe Pereira is the current GOAT. I don't believe his legacy is as cemented yet in the same way that Khabib Nurmagomedov's legacy is cemented. But I do believe if he continues in this exact manner, I think we might have a new GOAT on our hands, boys. First off, some news has just broke that Pereira was facing a lot of adversity coming into this UFC 307 fight with Khalil Roundtree. Now we've seen him absolutely obliterate Khalil. And a quick little point on that, there's a lot of Pereira haters going around at the moment saying that he didn't dominate Khalil Roundtree. Then on the other side, there's a lot of Pereira fans saying he did dominate Khalil Roundtree. When I say Pereira dominated Roundtree, I'm talking about how the fight ended. At the end of the third and in that fourth round, he completely destroyed Roundtree. But now these new details have surfaced about the adversities that Pereira was facing on the build-up to this fight. It kind of makes sense as to why the fight went a little bit longer than we all expected. So Pereira issued this statement. I was in Brazil about a month ago. I had some problems with my visa. I was going to the consulate every day trying to see if my passport was ready. Finally, I made it back to the US, spent about a week in Connecticut, and I've been here in Salt Lake City for 3 weeks. In the meantime, this is crazy, I was on antibiotics, I had a fever, I had a bad throat. I didn't even get onto it first time round, but the Weasel on his channel pointed out that Pereira was coughing in between rounds, sitting on the stool. So in the fight, he was sick. You guys know what it's like when you're sick and you're coming down with something. Sometimes you can barely even go to the gym. I'm a little bit under the weather at the moment. I haven't trained this last week. I feel a little bit shaky. I feel a little bit weak. But to be honest, now I feel like an absolute bitch knowing that Pereira went in there and he did what he did whilst on antibiotics and really under the weather. Imagine in between rounds. That's mad. Especially at elevation as well. At elevation, you've already got a limited lung capacity, and Pereira was taking antibiotics, which limit your lung capacity even more so. And if you're sick, that impairs your ability to recover. Your resting heart rate is often higher. Your lung capacity is inhibited. Your general recovery and ability to access strength and explosiveness and the ability to contract your muscles with force, aka throw them with speed, that's all going to be limited. And we still seen Pereira absolutely dominate Khalil Roundtree. And I know the argument is, yeah, well, it's Khalil Roundtree. He was ranked 9th in the world. Calm down, Shaun. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. He said, when I came here, my throat was still bad. I went to the doctor and had another round of antibiotics. I even recorded a video at the time. I said in the video we could show it if I won, so we can put it out at some point. But I went through a lot. Release that video, Pereira. Release it. Show everyone who the GOAT is. Khabib, what? Khabib Nurmagomedov? What? You mean the boring ground and pound striker? I'm only joking. Don't sue me. I'm just having a mess around. I like Khabib. Now, this is also crazy. In addition to sickness, lingering injuries also flared back up. Pereira re-aggravated an old rib injury and the toe that he broke leading up to UFC 300. So when he was fighting Jamal Hill, he had a broken toe. Apparently, that injury became a problem on the build-up to this fight as well. Yet, we didn't really notice it impact his performance that much. I mean, maybe it did. Maybe that's why he was backing up a lot. We haven't really seen Pereira jump back as much as he did in that Khalil Roundtree fight. But maybe it's something to do with that. He said, I think there's a limit. I want to push myself as much as I can. I'm 37 and I want to take advantage of time, but I need to take a break. Alex, you've deserved a break. He even said in this Instagram post, this year I did 3 fights and ended with 3 wins. With the end of my last fight, meaning this one, I feel that was somehow the end of a cycle. I think what we're going to see is Alex Pereira take some time off before this Ankalaev fight. Now, back to the Khabib argument. I don't necessarily agree with all these people who are definitively saying that Alex Pereira is more of a GOAT than Khabib, that he's overtaken Khabib. People have been saying this since the second Jiri Prochazka win. At the end of the day, Alex Pereira has still got to face a wrestler, but I think if we can get past Ankalaev, I think we can definitely start taking this conversation a bit more seriously. And once again, I know Khabib retired undefeated, but at some point we have to consider the quality of opponents. We've all seen this picture. Jon Jones on the left, George St. Pierre in the middle, Khabib on the right, and the numbers represent the combined wins and losses of each one of these fighters' opponents. So Jon Jones's opponents have got 417 combined wins, 171 losses. GSP's opponents, 494, 70 71 losses. Khabib Nurmagomedov's opponents have got a combined 295 wins and 114 losses. That's not too great on Khabib's side of things. And once again, Khabib, yeah, one of the GOATs. You can make that argument all day. I'm not angry with it. But then I also see in this as well, this is the combined record of the first 16 opponents of Khabib, and they've just compared them to Jose Aldo. Aldo's first 16 opponents had a combined win record of 114 wins and only 41 losses. Khabib's first 16 opponents, 67 and 49. At the end of the day, Khabib racked up the vast majority of his wins against nobodies. And yeah, sure, once he kind of got into the top 10, he started running through people. He would dominate them. Everyone literally had no chance to win against Khabib, and that's why he is the GOAT, or one of the GOATs, because of the way that he defeated his opponents. But if you're talking about most notable wins within the UFC, Khabib, you've got Rafael dos Anjos, and granted, Rafael dos Anjos was on a tear when Khabib beat him. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, fairly decent wins. Alex Pereira's most notable wins: Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland, Jan Blachowicz, Jiri Prochazka twice, Jamal Hill. We won't throw Khalil Roundtree in the mix because it's not really a notable win because he was ranked 9th. But I do think it's still a good win because Khalil's shown that he's actually a really good fighter. So yeah, Khabib has got the undefeated argument on his side for being the GOAT. Pereira has beat 4 former champions. He's had 3 title defenses in 179 days, all of them ending in TKO. 4 fights in less than a year, saving 3 UFC cards. Imagine if Pereira pulled out of UFC 307 on the weekend. That would have been an absolute abysmal card. Maybe even one of the worst cards of the year. Maybe that's a wild statement and I've just got a short-term memory, but I'm standing on that statement until someone else proves me otherwise. He fought with a toe injury, rib injury, sore throat, 2 weeks on antibiotics before the fight. He was at elevation and pretty much came into this fight on short notice. And then not to mention all the killers who he fought in kickboxing. And look, just to be fair, we will play devil's advocate. I've seen this video before, which kind of sparked the idea for me to make this video. And this guy's making the case as to why Khabib is better than Alex Pereira. And he makes some valid points. Let's have a listen.
Alex Pereira is higher on the GOAT list than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Show me a picture of Khabib like this. Show me. The disrespect to Khabib is just getting crazy. Alex Pereira's title defenses are Khalil, who didn't even beat anybody ranked, Jiri Prochazka, who's coming off a long injury and on short notice, and Jamal Hill, the Teletubby, who's also coming off a 1-year long injury, while Khabib's title defenses contain of prime Conor McGregor, prime Justin Gaethje, and prime Dustin Poirier. That's way better title defenses than Alex Pereira's. Alex Pereira's activity also doesn't matter because he's facing bums. Just facts, kid.
I think that last statement was a little bit of rage bait. I wouldn't say that Alex Pereira is facing bums. He's fighting former champions. Now, if there's anyone who's a bum and who doesn't really deserve that championship status, you could make the case for Sean Strickland. You can make the case for Jamal Hill. And then I understand the argument about Jiri Prochazka coming off the injury. I guess we'll just have to see how Alex Pereira's former opponents and these former champions do after losing to him, because the more they continue to win, the better it just makes Pereira look. So I believe if we really want to take this conversation seriously about Alex Pereira being the GOAT or even being able to challenge, I do believe we need to see him up against a wrestler. So that Ankalaev fight is going to be extremely interesting. But when you look at the light heavyweight division, it's not really super stacked. We talked about this on our live stream the other day. Besides beating Ankalaev, what else would he need to do to prove his GOAT status, to overtake Khabib? Can it even be done? I'm actually asking you guys the question. You guys comment down below. I'm just the guy asking the questions and presenting the argument that other people are making across the internet. Beat Jiri twice. Let's say he beats Ankalaev. Already beat Jamal Hill. Beat Jan Blachowicz. Maybe if Alexander Rakic goes on a bit of a tear and then Alex Pereira fights Rakic, I believe that could actually be a very good fight because Rakic has got really good kickboxing. He's a powerful dude. He looked really good against Jiri Prochazka until Jiri just decided that he wanted to win and just, boom, got him out of there. Volkan Oezdemir, Nikita Krylov, once again, needs to string some wins together. Johnny Walker, no, he gets knocked out by a gust of wind. Anthony Smith. Alex Pereira defeats Anthony Smith. I don't care what anyone says. Alex Pereira is the GOAT because Anthony on paper Smith defeats everybody in the UFC. So I'm not too sure how many of these middle-of-the-road opponents does he need to beat to become the GOAT. Or Pereira goes up to heavyweight and challenges either John Jones, not going to happen, John Jones is going to retire, or Tom Aspinall. If Tom Aspinall becomes the undisputed champion after the Jones and Stipe fight, and then Pereira goes up, let's just say there's somehow Alex Pereira pulls it out the bag and beats Tom Aspinall, because I don't think that's going to happen. I think Tom Aspinall walks through him. And it pains me to say that, because Tom and Alex Pereira are two of my favourite fighters. But imagine if Pereira went up to heavyweight, defeated Tom Aspinall, then maybe defended the heavyweight title once or twice. Despite the fact he got knocked out at middleweight against Israel Adesanya, I think if Pereira does that, you cannot deny that he's better than Khabib. The level of competition would just be too good. I actually don't think there's any more challenge for him besides Ankalaev in the light heavyweight division. And although I don't really want to see him go up to heavyweight, there's that small part of me that does. And I believe that is how Alex Pereira claims GOAT status. What do you guys think? I want to know all your thoughts. Comment down below. I've got a new fitness video dropping this week as well on my fitness channel, so make sure you check that out. And if you want a free training program with daily email tips on how to build muscle and strength fast, you can grab that first link in the description. Okay, nice one, boys. Let's see those comments. See you tomorrow.